Alright. So, for the final portion of our moon mission, we would like to get back into an orbit with Kerbin and then return. So one of the best and easiest ways to do this is to kind of ignore the whole apoapsis and periapsis aspect of our mission here. And I gotta switch back over to the moon lander itself. But yeah, it's basically to ignore our periapsis and apoapsis at this point, because what I want to do is fall back into an orbit behind the moon. And the best way to do that is to choose a spot that's intersecting where the moon is going on its orbit, and then speed up out of its orbit from here and then fall back into where its trailing edge is. So I'm going to make a maneuver node right there and hit the prograde so that my apoapsis should be climbing out on the moon's, you know, path of where it was, and it's going to walk away from it because obviously it's you know, parabolic in its relationship. But right around, where is it, about 200-ish? Yeah, we start to see that we will end up in the path of where the moon was. And when we get let back out, we'll be here. And the idea is that our current Kerbin periapsis will be 4 million meters. And we only have to spend 180 to get there. But I can kind of like fine-tune this a little bit to kind of make it a little bit more worth our while. And things are a little bit cheaper here. But now I've adjusted it where I've moved the time that I'm going to do the burn, like closer to me relatively. And I've also given a little bit more boost to kind of get myself on an orbit of Kerbin that doesn't involve ever coming in contact with the moon again, or at least being influenced by its influence. But it's a good start to push yourself back into the orbit behind the moon again, and then kind of work from there. So let's do this burn. I'll aim for the target, and I will fast forward to that. And again, I've gone through all the steps of getting all of the science onto this vessel from the lander, okay, which at this point I'm assuming has crashed in the moon, because I don't see it on the map anymore. So through that, it has since crashed. So let's get to that burn time, which is about, 15 seconds. I'll do it at 8 seconds so I can do some fine tuning at the end. Let's wait for that to come up. 8 seconds, eh? And I'll start out full burn, but then I'll cut it off when I get closer to expending my delta V requirements for this maneuver. About now, and then I'll do the fine-tune burn with the shift and control. Usually I use X to close that out, to cancel that burn, because then, oop, of course, I've hit the wrong thing. And I just want to get my 6.5 meters per second back. I actually ended up opening up some stream utilities from Elgato with that shortcut key. There we go. That's close enough. We're working some big numbers, so we're in good shape. So yeah, it's going to let me out, and I'll be there about the point of apoapsis for that. So this is where it'll let me out. It's right about here. So I'll make a maneuver node over there, and I'm going to double click on Kerbin to make that my focus. That way everything that I'm doing is over here now. And I'll start to bring down my speed and get that down to a point where that's like about 35-ish. I like to enter the atmosphere around 35,000. That'll be fine. So I still need to spend another 240. I'm going to have plenty, especially since I stole some of that fuel from the lander. I don't exactly want to, like, at this point, maneuver all the way there. I want to try and get a little higher above the moon, maybe 100,000 or so. And I want to see if this will bear any fruit. Running my my magnetosphere experiment one more time. Go. Because I think if I reviewed the science, yeah, it's high over the moon now. So I will keep that experiment. Not only that, I'm going to get out with Bob and go get that experiment. Just to verify. I will store the experiment, and it took it. So that means that I didn't have, like, a mess up there. So that means that at this point, if I go this way and fast forward, I've about done all I can for that. For the moon, and as far as that experiment is concerned, and then I can also do that same experiment when I'm in the influence of Kerbin. Which I should be in that state now. Let's run that experiment one more time. High over Kerbin. I'll EVA with Bob one more time. I could do this one last time, realistically. Download the data. I was able to board with the data. Got one more I can do. And that's going to be when I get there. Now, I'm way over my burn time, but again, that's not going to be so important because effectively I'm so far away that there's a lot of time out here that I can use to spend to get the same, almost the same trajectory. And I'm really not even watching this anymore. I'm watching my periapsis. Because that's the important thing. That's what all this maneuver is for. So at this point, it was just a guideline. Bring it down to 35-ish. And cut it off. 32. Good enough for me.